3, 2, 1.
You know, I don't know why you do the clapping thing, because we don't have to sync any audio.
I'm just used to it, Jack. It's a little behind the scenes magic. I just know I'm ready to go whenever I clap my hands. It's like I flip a switch in my head to be like, okay, Tom, stop being the little introverted baby that you are, sitting at the computer the whole time, and be extroverted for 1 hour of your day. Have people try to like you, just for 1 hour.
Speaking of which, I'll start the timer.
Oh, what?
There we go. No, I just got an extra 30 seconds out of you.
Ah, fuck.
There we go. I love that. There we go. The timer's started now.
I'm just going to stop talking for the last 30 seconds. It's just going to
be that.
It's going to offset it.
Okay, that's fair enough. I can riff for 30 seconds.
Yeah, you can.
That's fine. Do you want to do the intro already?
Yep, roll the intro. Or wait.
No, Tom, just introduce the people are waiting.
The people are waiting.
The people are waiting out there in internet world.
Today's episode is a very special one because we have...
I'm sorry, Tom, what podcast is this?
Jack, I'm clearly fucking up here. What are you on about here?
This is Hecklin Hollywood.
This is Hecklin Hollywood.
The podcast where we chat about Hollywood films sometimes, I guess.
Yes.
And then other times we don't.
Yeah. A little bit here, a little bit there.
There you go. We still haven't found a tagline for this podcast, but we will eventually.
Yeah.
Tom, why is this week extra special?
This week's extra special because we actually watched a good film. Spoilers. And not only that, the film we watched inspired us to go into the backlog, into the classics, and found an oldie but a goodie that seemed to have a lot more similarities with the film in question than we first realized.
I feel like we haven't done a classic movie discussion since the very first episode way back when.
Well, with Shrek and Shrek 2.
Yeah. The contrast. And to be fair, we are kind of doing a contrast here because we were saying which one is better, Shrek 1 or Shrek 2.
Yeah.
It's not quite the same here, but there's a lot of similarities here. And I don't think we were intending to see as many similarities as they were. Mm-hmm. Of course, what we're talking about, if you couldn't tell by what's in front of you right now and what was on the title and what's on the thumbnail,
we're doing Quantumania.
We're doing Quantumania. Paul Rudd's Quantumania and Jennifer Lawrence in, what's that Apple movie she did with the guy from Atlanta? Breakaway?
Mockingbird?
Breakthrough?
No, what is it?
Ball Breaker?
Hunger Thrones?
Hunger Thrones?
I don't know.
The Game of Hunger?
The Game of Hunger.
Starring Michael Fassbender as Bobby Sands.
Roll the intro.
What you got down there? Something for me?
Why? You tried kidnapping me! You're 19. Grow up.
He's one of our youngest. No one's lasted more than a day. But I think you're perfect because you're young and you don't want to go to prison.
What up, Ronnie?
I don't want to take my pants off.
What?
Okay, so we're going to be talking about... I feel like we should just talk about them together because they do coalesce. It's No Hard Feelings, which just came out like, what is it, like 5 days ago? It's already on VOD. Because
that's the way we love it, baby.
Theaters are dying, baby.
Give me my film slop.
And what was the other one? Paul Rudd and Sean William Scott in
Role Models.
Role Models
In 2008.
There you go. I thought it was called DUI, the movie.
DUI.
Because he gets his license.
Fast Times at the DMV.
Fast Times at the DMV. Yes. Well, Tom, we naturally just watched No Hard Feelings because it came out on VOD. We're like, okay, we didn't watch it in cinemas because every time I think, I should watch something in the cinema, I just read on DVDreleasedates.com that it's coming out in like 2 weeks, and I'm like, I'll wait the 2 weeks.
Yeah. And the idea of us going to the cinema every single week to go and see a film, I think is disingenuous to our audience because there's not that many good films coming out in the cinema.
It's actually shocking how barren the release date calendar is.
It gets sparse.
Until like Dune comes out in November. Like I can't think of anything. Like, man, Craven the Hunter got removed from its October release date.
God damn it.
October's barren now. What could you possibly want to do? Listen to the new Dorian Electra album? That can't compete with Craven. You want to play Spider-Man 2 on the PS5? That can't compete.
Jack, these are very strange references to bring up to people.
These are very strange references. Hold on. Allow me to fetch my other references for October. What else do we have? Forza Motorsport comes out. Alan Wake comes out. The Taika Waititi movie, Next Goal Wins, come out. 1989, Taylor's version comes out. City Skylines 2. Maisie Peters has a concert in Dublin that I'm going to, so that's fun. And then you can play the Metal Gear Solid collection. Tom, there's fucking nothing going on in October.
There's fuck all. So
Kraven the Hunter was the only thing going
it
on.
was the only good thing.
And now we have to wait until November for the Hunger Games song.
Rock you like my Mockingjay.
Songs of Ice and Fire. What's
I
it
don't know.
called? Ballad of Song. Oh, Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes. I'm so happy I got that. Yeah. So No Hard Feelings is going to be the last thing to talk about for like a while, unless we wanted to. Were we debating going to see? What's that movie? The gamer becomes a race car driver.
Forza Motorsport.
Forza Motorsport. Yeah.
Yeah.
By the director of District 9. Did you know he directed District 9?
Yes, Jack. I believe you've done this riff on the podcast.
I'm going to do it again.
You're going to keep going.
I want to
with
keep
it.
going, man. I'm already out of material. Okay, we have
Yes.
how many months to the end of the year? 4. I'm well out of ideas, but no, we're going to talk about No Hard Feelings and role models. 15 years between them.
Yeah.
What could possibly be different in 15 years? How could the Hollywood landscape have changed in 15 years? If this was a video essay, hard cut to horrible.
Skillshare advert.
Speaking of unwanted change, Skillshare. Everybody's favorite.
Do you want to pay to learn and then learn nothing? I'm Larry the Cable Guy. I learned how to read on Skillshare.
Man, no joke. I think learning to read would be a valuable course, and that's why Skillshare doesn't have it.
You want to learn how to baster my butter biscuits? I have a whole course on it on Skillshare.
Did you say baste your mum butter biscuits?
We're going to baste the butter biscuits.
Baste the butter biscuits?
I got a
Okay.
step-by-step guide on how any average Joe can make top-quality based butter biscuits, and my appendix burst. Oh no! I'm Larry the Cable Guy.
Tom, do you know this is our first complete R-rated episode?
Yeah, you
'Cause
were telling me that.
We had Oppenheimer. Tom, don't act like we discuss things outside of this podcast. This is the only time we
I don't
talk.
know you.
We hate each other outside of this podcast.
Yes.
We're like Siskel and Ebert. We have a very big distaste for each other.
Small tangent. Whenever I started getting into movies around, it was like my placement year at uni. My manager basically thought it was cool that I was going to the cinema every week, and then I was like, oh well, as a bit of public speaking, you can tell the team what movie you watched at like a wee quick review at like every week, and I was like, okay, and he called it Kermode's Corner, and I just turned around and went, what's Kermode? So I had like so little to do with films that he was like, oh yeah, it's well, what's his name, Mark Kermode?
Mark Kermode.
And I was like, who the fuck is that guy?
Hold on a minute. Couldn't he call it Cuthbertson's Corner?
Yeah, he could have. He thought it was fun, and I was just like, I don't know who that is.
Wait, hold on. What job was this?
This was my placement year. I was doing software development.
Software development. Okay, you don't want to name the company.
Oh no, correct.
Of course not. Of course
Yeah.
not. Yeah, no, Tom. In that case, I go, oh wow, this shows the kind of people who are in software development. If that's funny to them, oh, you got out big time, bro. Congratulations. You would have to be around those unfunny people the rest of your life, and now you're stuck with me.
Now I'm stuck with you.
Aren't you lucky? Speaking of,
I quit.
you know what, Tom? I wouldn't blame you, but also you're not allowed.
Damn it.
Not allowed to quit.
I have 150. I'm going to keep interrupting you.
By all means, keep it.
I have 150 hours of community service that I have to pay off with Jack. So I don't know how many hours we've done on the podcast.
Come to my Dungeons and Dragons make-believe thing, Tom. Let's fight with swords.
I want to fight Jennifer Lawrence with swords.
You want to fight Jennifer Lawrence with swords? I have to say, because we're going to just jump straight into it. If you don't know what these movies are about, I don't know, look up the fucking Wikipedia. Who cares? But whatever.
Read a book.
Read a book. Tom, the people who read books don't watch movies like this.
That is true.
No, I say that. People like this don't watch role models. They might have a passing glance at No Hard Feelings.
Yeah.
I did want to bring up, because I think we both had the same thought. Jennifer Lawrence gets her bits out.
Oh yeah,
She
yeah.
gets her
There
bits
is
out in
nudity,
this.
full frontal.
Full frontal. No shame.
Yeah.
No
No,
nothing.
Austin Powers hiding things behind literal melons.
No, to
type
be fair,
jokes.
because there was none of that. However, there was I don't know about you, Tom, but whenever I watch a movie and I know it's R-rated, I'm thinking, okay, well, it's a Hollywood movie, so is there going to be any nudity of both varieties? Okay, there's more chance of me seeing booba
Yeah.
than me of seeing the peen. there's no pain in this. So I was very disappointed. I was like, where's the pain?
We need equality.
Well, to be fair, did you see slight pain?
I can't even remember.
We'll get into the slight pain. I'll mention what the slight pain was. But either way, the movie, there's a scene where Jennifer Lawrence and a young man, 19-year-old boy, so there you go,
Yeah.
cut that for context, are swimming in the lake, or the ocean or whatever, and it does the thing where she undresses and it's from shoulder up. And you're like, oh, is it gonna show? And it doesn't. It cuts to him, and then a hard cuts to her, and she's in the ocean, and you're like, this is the sort of thing that you're expecting. She's naked in your mind.
Yeah.
You don't really think about it. And then these kids come over and steal their clothes.
Oh, what wacky hijinks.
What wacky hijinks ensue. And the way they the movie reveals to you that, oh no, we are going to show everything, is like a fucking horror movie where these kids are walking towards camera and all you see is just this naked blur coming towards them in the form of Jennifer Lawrence. And she bits the cunt out of them while buck-ass naked. And I did not expect to watch an R-rated comedy that was influenced by David Cronenberg's Eastern Promises.
Yeah.
Because that's all I could think of.
I know, you brought it up to me during the scene. Yeah.
If somebody whipped out a knife and started going for her, I would have been like, oh man, this is proper.
This is great. Yeah.
Did David Cronenberg guest direct this? This is wild. Proper great. And somebody like punches her in the cooch and I was like, whoa! This is wild. Does she like body slam somebody?
Yeah.
This is
yeah,
great.
she proper like
This is great.
WWE.
I approve of this. No more full frontal sex scenes. If there's going to be full frontal nudity, it needs to be in fight scenes.
Yes.
Because it was entertaining as fuck. I thought it was great.
It was.
To be fair, your boy does do not full frontal, but he does show a little booty.
Yeah.
Does show a little butt when he's on the
hood of the car.
The hood of the car. And then I thought we did see some peen whenever the other guy puts the peen in the what do you call it, the Chinese finger trap.
Oh shoot! Actually, no, we did see that. I completely forgot about that.
Now, to be fair, it was a split second, so I don't think you saw the full peen.
No,
but
and it also had whatever it either had a prop on it to make it look like it was stuck in the Chinese finger trap, or it was a prosthetic that was. That was the entire prop.
I think that's the closest it got to like Austin Powers type tomfoolery.
Yeah,
because as far as I know, Tom, those Chinese finger traps. Yeah. Are like the perfect width for a finger.
Yes.
You don't really stretch them over anything.
No.
So the fact that it was like this small, thin finger trap, and then it was just this.
The prosthetic was like a tube sock.
And then she puts the finger in, and I'm like, oh my god, she's pulling, and I'm like, oh, it's wacky hijinks.
She's funny.
Wonderful stuff. I love that they brought that back around. They brought it back around to filth. And here you go, Tom. Here's our segue into discussing the next movie.
Yes.
That's what made me properly think, oh my god, this is properly reveling in its filth.
Yeah.
And it does have a little message. It is nice and sweet. But then again, the movies of the late 2000s were also had a bit of sweetness to them. And that's what made us think, oh my god, what movies are there? Because I don't think did we immediately go for role models, or how
we
did we
didn't immediately.
Because we know we wanted to get something from that time period.
Yeah, that basically once we finished No Hard Feelings, we were like, this feels like a classic, like mid to late noughties rated R film. That was like we look back and remember as like, oh, those were kind of fun, others were silly, like a Seth Rogen comedy, like Knocked Up,
I was like,
or like 40-Year-Old Virgin. Yeah, I think I brought up like Youth and Revolt was the one we initially went with, and then I was like, no, this actually feels a lot more in line with something like Role Models.
Yeah.
And then you had never seen Role Models.
I'd never seen Role Models.
So I was like, this is a fun walk down memory lane for myself. And it was like, this was the first time for Jack. So I was like, this will be fun. This will be a good one. And we were surprised at how many things were actually similar, at least in the beginning setup, of like completely minute things in the film of like, somebody trying to drive away a car that's still attached to a tow truck. We were like, that seems like a unique situation to be in, and yet it's in both. And what was it? There was something.
It's a very
else.
specific thing.
Yeah.
Like it was very specific.
And I think there was like one other thing that we looked at and went, no, that's exactly the same.
Well, We thought because your boy in No Hard Feelings jumps on the hood of the car.
Oh, that was it,
because
yeah.
she wouldn't give him his phone, and the little kid doesn't let Sean William Scott back in his car, and he starts to drive off, and we were both like, if Sean William Scott gets on the hood of this car, and they have like
Yeah.
a scene where they drive around,
I'm calling up plagiarism.
man, it's proper like.
Hello, Warner Brothers. I think we got a case on our hands.
We're gonna sue Jennifer Lawrence for everything she had.
What do you mean your lawyers are on strike?
Tom, I don't think lawyers have ever went on strike. If lawyers went on strike, they would get sued, and they go, "Wait a minute, you can't sue me. I'm a lawyer."
Yeah.
Oh wait.
I wrote the law. I am the law.
I actually wonder: is there a workforce that it's never went on strike? Like you think, like how many times have you heard about the bus service going on strike?
Yeah.
Like they go on strike constantly. Doctors, nurses go on strike. Actors, writers, directors, sometimes bastards.
I was going to say Uber drivers, but I probably at some point they were doing something. You never know. No, it was taxi drivers that were striking.
Oh yeah,
because
Uber drivers can't be union.
Yeah.
that's why Uber's so powerful.
It's by design.
It's by design, no union. Then the VFX artists are unionizing, which is great.
That's
to hear.
good. Yep.
Everyone else is fucking, but except them, it's just wonderful to hear.
It was just fun to see how similar both like the comedy stylings, the setups, and everything were.
And it essentially deals with a person who, in this case, Sean William Scott and Paul Rudd are the two people, but it deals with character or group of characters who are not really happy with the way their life is going.
Yeah.
And they come into a circumstance where they are forced to spend time with
Somebody they normally would.
somebody who is younger, and they have to do this for either a monetary gain or they have to do this to get out of prison. But through spending time with these people, they not only learn about those people, but they also learn more about themselves, and they become happier. And there's what we did notice, and what we absolutely love now is what I like to call the 30 minutes before end.
Yeah.
Time to wrap it up. Because 30 minutes before the end of any comedy, just whenever it gets to 30 minutes, I bet you any money the second act low point has already happened.
Yeah.
And the characters are going their separate ways. They're breaking up. The characters are at their lowest point exactly 30 minutes before the end. It's shocking.
Yeah.
It's
It's bang on the money. Especially for Role Models was bang on the money. And I do believe what was the other one we watched? Fucking Unfriendly Business. What?
Unfriendly, but isn't that what Vince Vaughn?
Yeah, No Hard Feelings. We love it because once you start to pick it up, it's basically like getting yourself ready. Like you could, if you were at a classroom, you could start packing your bag silently in the back row, just being like, all right, 30 minutes to the end. Let's just get everything ready.
I think it's like, you know, those puzzles that are like, here's the end of the maze and here's where you begin, and you basically got to draw your way out.
Yeah.
Being-
The one on the kiddie menu at McDonald's.
Exactly. It's being 2/3 of the way through that and going, I know where I'm going.
Yeah.
I know where I'm going. You didn't know where it was going originally, but it's like you've seen all these desperate elements all come together. And I think I prefer how Role Models did it.
Yeah.
Because although a little bit janky, I like a little bit of jankiness, everything converges into one location. And I love
That was a cool
I love when
part,
they
yeah.
can just bring everything together. It's focused. They're not cutting between a whole bunch of things. Superbad did it with the house party at the end. Everything kind of converges. Technically, yeah. Although they take Christopher Mintz-Plaza away and they shoot up a cop car.
Yeah.
But everything kind of converges in one
Which
location.
was the style at the
Which
time?
was the style in 2007 before.
Yeah, you can't shoot up a cop car anymore.
You go, oh, I just a great job. You could probably do it more nowadays.
Oh no, you'd want to more.
You'd want to more. I'm sure you still could do it more.
Yeah.
I'm sure I'm sure Superbad is more realistic now than it would have been back in 2007. Although No Hard Feelings reminded us of the glory days of the R-rated comedy, which I think has kind of went away.
It has. It's sunsetted.
The sun had set upon it. Paul Rudd is now doing Ant-Man movies. Sean William Scott is nowhere to be found. He's gone. Elizabeth Banks is making Cocaine Bear.
Steve Carell is just an old man now.
Oh, Steve Carell's doing the Oscar movies now.
Yeah,
He's in. Well, yeah, he's in the Foxcatcher. He was in The Big Short.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, no, he's in big stuff.
Yeah.
Although Steve Carell wasn't in Role Models.
No, he wasn't in Role Models, but Steve Carell was still of that time, like 40-year-old virgin. Like that's
Yeah,
that whole era.
The era of what's his name? Who directed them?
Judd Apatow.
Judd Apatow. The
Yeah.
era of Judd Apatow before he made The Bubble.
Yes. Oh my god.
Oh, remember that?
Yeah, that was bad.
Remember that? David Duchovny fucking, remember that? Yeah, no, I'm not talking about Californication. I think there's an element to Role Models watching it that just feels so, and again, it was only 15 years ago.
Yeah.
It was within our lifespan, although we feel like youngins ourselves, we are in fact getting up there. So we would have been the tender age of 10 or so when it came
Yep.
out. Role Models, it feels so antiquated compared to what movies are like now, where a comedy will, like I mentioned too, they just feel so complicated. They overcomplicate themselves with like 30 different characters, and like
Yeah.
everybody has, like, everything goes on too long. The only thing that goes on scene wise is every time Jane Lynch is on screen. And even then, like, that's
You're like sphincter titans. And you're just like, "Ooh."
that's the only bit that you feel, oh yeah, this is where they let her riff a wee bit.
Yeah.
But even then, all of her bits keep coming back. So I'm like, no, that can't be. So they were definitely in the script.
Yeah.
Or they went, that's good, let's keep bringing
Yeah,
that
keep
back
it.
up. And they wrote that into the script. Doesn't feel like comedies do that now.
No.
It feels like they go, okay, riff on something. Okay, good. Now let's move on to the next scene where we have a line of dialogue and you just riff on that.
Yeah. No, we've brought it up
so
before
tight.
that, like, yeah, there's whenever the direction of the film feels like they just put the two characters in a room or actors and just went, just start saying lines and we'll pick whichever one's the funniest and then we'll just move on to the next scene. Like, there isn't, like you said, there's a couple of moments like that in something like Role Models, but there's also very intentional jokes being set up, and even some that like went in completely different ways. I had seen it before and I completely forgot that. Oh, is it Sean William Scott?
Oh, you talk about where he goes up to the kid?
What point?
Where he goes up to
Oh.
the kid in the forest. He goes up to the kid in the forest
Yeah.
and he tells him about the bald eagle mating ritual.
Yeah.
It's like, why are you telling me this? Why would I not?
Why would I not?
And he just walks away. Funny as shit.
Yeah.
That's so good.
And-
And that has no, like,
No standing in the film.
no standing. Like, it would make more sense if he said that to the kid that he was actually looking after, but he
Yeah.
said it to Paul Rudd's kid. And it's so random. Like, that's the epitome of something that could have been cut, but you keep it in there
Yeah.
because it's so funny. That is instantly quotable.
That
I'm
is
never going to
good.
stop thinking about that.
But it's not. That's also not the same situation of like the people are already standing there, and you're like, all right, let them riff, let them fill air. That feels like you said. It was so good that it got to be placed and it couldn't be removed. Whereas so much stuff today would have been like, oh, we're just going to drag the one scene on too long by keeping lines.
We
Like,
watched what was it? What was that crappy? Funny enough, we talked about
Transformers: Rise of Beast.
That's a movie that could have probably done with a few bits more improv.
Yeah.
That felt like somebody just wrote a terrible script and went, let's film it exactly as is with nothing different. Truly terrible. Man, bring back Michael Bay and the I'm right below enemy scrotum. Bring back that. I saw a behind the scenes of that recently where he was actually talking about like, okay, and I want two big, those big construction balls? I want them hanging from like a crane. And then he says that line. That's a great joke, man. And he was proper saying it straight face. Great. That's cinema right there. That's a
Cinema.
true auteur at work. But we watched what was it, Eddie Murphy, Jonah, You People?
Oh yes,
That was terrible.
that was really
That
bad.
was that's the concept of it has so much comedic potential and you can definitely go there, but it's the kind of thing where it needed a proper script and it just felt like, again, they got everybody together and they went, right, we have 3 hours of 4K recording.
Yeah, that's
Just go.
yeah.
We're never cutting.
It felt a lot more. You People felt a lot more like a what's it called, like Meet the Fockers or like the Four Christmases, where it's like we have families that have certain personality types. Let's just put these people there and then have actors riff for a bit.
Yeah, I'm sorry, but like Meet the Parents, we can't compare because Meet the Parents is also, it's the same. We talk about the late 2000s, but like
Yeah.
the late 90s was full of, especially like the Ben Stiller stuff.
Yeah.
It was full of well written, Something About Mary.
Oh, yeah.
Well written, well-placed comedy that had a few moments of improv, and that was a big part of it, but it felt so pointed where the creative still went, yep, this is important because we want to get that flow. And that's where a lot of early Judd Apatow stuff came in as well, and some of his bigger stuff. Obviously, he didn't make this, Role Models, but I think especially since Netflix started just pumping out so many comedies,
Yeah.
it's really felt like, oh, you don't have any sort of strong vision where you feel like the movies can just be a bunch of jokes and it's a bunch of riffs and there's no strong character moment anymore.
Yeah.
And I always talk about a good joke is a joke that can only be said by that character. And we talked about the eagle joke, the eagle
Yeah.
eating joke. Paul Rudd's character couldn't
No,
have
he
said
couldn't. No.
that. Only Sean William Scott character could have played that. And that to me is like strong character. And it's not like these characters are anything special.
Yeah.
But they're very clearly drawn.
Yeah.
And you can go, yep, I know what your character is. I know who you are. I know who you are. And it's all very strong. And it's very simple.
Well,
and
what's
think that's
interesting
shocking about it.
to think about as well is especially comparing like late 2000s comedies, especially R-rated comedies, and what we have on Netflix, is the idea that like there's so much money going into like Netflix into these productions that they become sloppier just by the fact that like, oh, they're being greenlit, they have funny people in it, you'll do it or whatever. If you consider the people who were investing in the late 2000s, stuff like Role Models was like the bottom of the barrel that they were like picking, that they were like, this doesn't feel like a good movie, but it's got enough there that I think audiences will enjoy themselves. And then you compare that to Netflix that has poked a hole through the bucket and keeps going deeper. And it's like, what's all this mud at the bottom? Oh, let's have some of that too.
It's like molded.
Yeah.
There's just like this mold at the bottom of the bucket. And they went, oh, what's this? And they've broken through the bottom of the bucket and they've started burrowing in and they've just seen all the work. It's like
and there's like a septic tank below the bucket.
it's like the opening of Blue Velvet where it shows all this lovely suburban households and green grass and flowers, and then it just goes to like this disgusting earth below, and it's like, ugh. That's what they've done.
Like there used to be a small special thing about whatever raunchy comedy came out at that time, for better or for worse. I'm sure there was still absolute stinkers, but there was still a little bit of prestige to some of them because they had to have they had to try to sell it to somebody who did not want to make a shitty film.
Oh, 100%. I mean, you still had... It's so strange to me because especially something like... I take the piss out of it. But something like The Cat in the Hat is such a mind fuck that I'm like, I don't think that could get made now.
No.
Something like what's his name? Who's next to Mike Myers in World?
Dana Carvey,
Dana
Master
Carvey.
of Disguise.
Masters of Disguise.
Yeah.
That's also like, again, these sorts of, and then of course Mike Myers was in The Love Guru. A lot of Adam Sandler stuff like Don't Mess with the Zohan, stuff like this where it's very...
These would have been the like SNL alumni films where they're like, we're going to give this a chance because people really like you from SNL. And they're going to have to give you a chance.
It's big stuff that something like Little Nicky. I love Little Nicky.
Little Nicky's,
and that's the kind of thing where I'm like, you don't make stuff like that anymore. Even though I'm like, this is the easiest stuff that you could produce. I mean, it's not like those ideas aren't out there, but I feel more and more whenever I'm watching, and that's what surprised me so much about No Hard Feelings is that it still had this modern sheen, but it felt so much like, oh, this is just a script that you pulled from like 10 years ago. And you made. Again, these are written movies. These movies that are written, they have scripts, they are thought about. And again, Role Models is definitely, Role Models is not a super bad.
No.
It's on the lower rung. But then you even think about something like Knocked Up or 40-Year-Old Virgin, things that have these very high concepts where you're like, oh, you can wring a lot of good stuff out of that. And it's the same thing. It's just funny people in a room and they're just talking most of the time. But I think the comedy just goes so out there, and
I think it's been brought up.
Well.
Yeah, oh, definitely. I think it's been brought up before that like some of the really good reasons the comedy stands out in like films of that period is that it isn't just jokes, comedic jokes. It's comedic situations that they're being placed into, like the Ren Fair, where they have to basically do like the LARPing or whatever they call it. Is a fun situation that you can just put somebody that's like, oh, look, I'm pretending to be a medieval knight, and Paul Rudd standing there as the straight man in the situation being like, that's dumb. Dumb. Why are you doing that? And by the end of the film, he's actually on that side now. And it was like, no, I must fight for my man's honor. And like the situation of the whole has just grown and has become funnier and better because it's given time to like really cement that idea compared to like a random throwaway joke where somebody's like, oh, we're at Comic-Con right now, and somebody walks up and being like, I'm a stormtrooper, and they go like, fuck off, virgin, and like that's the whole joke. That's the only joke you get in that situation.
I don't even remember the I don't even remember the context of the clip, but there's a scene in Ted 2.
No, I was thinking the same thing.
The same thing. Do you know the context of it?
No.
Because it's literally just Mark Wahlberg shouting fuck.
Oh wait, no, I know the rest of it. You just know the fuck part.
Yeah, what is he doing that to?
They're in Comic-Con. They walk up and somebody is doing a panel for Star Wars, and they'd be like, oh, I can't even remember who it is now, but they say, and Han Solo is going to be played by, and then they do just a random actor.
Yeah.
And then it just goes like, it's just Mark Wahlberg looking, going, fuck! It's so good. You know what? For the sake of making Jack's life harder as an editor, put the clip in right now.
Have any of you guys seen a talking teddy bear in the zoo here?
They're about to announce a new Superman.
The new Superman is Jonah Hill. Fuck!
I think, yeah, so you brought it up perfectly. It's the funny situations, because in No Hard Feelings, there's whenever she follows him into the house party, which is filled with, I mean, she's like 30, was it 32?
Yeah.
And it's all these like 18, 19-year-olds who are all like young as fuck.
That party was such a good scene.
And they're all calling her like old because they're all recording TikToks. Like everybody's just on their phones, and she like goes into the rooms looking for him. But everyone's just like in bed on their phones or like using VR. And she's like, doesn't anybody fuck anymore?
Yeah.
But there was also the point where like it's like, wait a minute, your parents are here?
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, of course. Do you think he would really have a party without us here? And it's like, what the fuck is it? What have they done to us? But I like that's like it builds and you're like, this is a good scene. It's furthering the story here. It's getting okay. She actually does care for him, otherwise she wouldn't be there. But then like she's picking a fight with all of them because she's getting frustrated. It's like, what I've been here my whole life. You can't. I'm not too old. Like, what the fuck? And the kid accidentally throat punches her.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that is 100% something that would happen in a late 2000s comedy. Because it's that level of randomness that I don't think a modern comedy does anymore. Because it's just straight word jokes.
Yeah.
It's very rare that they want to go for that. I don't know, man. Just a simple like man fall down. There's a
man fall down equal funny.
Man,
we'll never forget it.
In Superbad, there's a scene where Jonah Hill and Emma Stone have like that heart to heart.
Yeah.
But he then just like passes out and headbutts her.
Yeah.
Who said it? And the scene ends with her going, what the fuck? It's the greatest thing. It's bits like that where I'm like, oh, you can't just riff that. Like that stuff is so simple. It's so funny. And I think it's underrated, to be honest. Role Models has that in spades. And that's what made me go, oh, No Hard Feelings. That's bringing it back.
Yeah. What's interesting to me is Jennifer Lawrence as an actor has brought up that like she has always wanted to do films like these.
Yeah.
And before you see No Hard Feelings, you're like, I don't know what she means. Like, what you would rather to make like just a kind of smaller budget comedy compared to like a big franchise like Hunger Games.
You don't see anything in her work that would suggest she'd want to do like this sort
type of work.
Raunchy
But
comedy.
You'd look at it then. I don't know Jennifer Lawrence's age, but you can picture that her in her more formative years was most likely watching Judd Apatow stuff,
100%,
and watching these raunchy comedies and being like, that looks hilarious.
I think she brought this up. I think Jennifer Lawrence brought up in an interview that she had a meeting with Adam McKay.
Yeah.
And she literally brought like a full binder and just gushed about his work. Like she loved like Anchorman and all that stuff. So she's clearly a fan of this sort of stuff.
Yes,
so
'cause, she did the Don't Look Up, wasn't it?
yeah, she was in that.
She was in that. Yeah,
Yeah, she was great in that. I thought she was
she
great.
did
in
a
that.
great job.
It's and to be fair, there's a lot about that. There's a lot about Don't Look Up that doesn't work.
Yeah.
But there's stuff also where I'm like, oh yeah, I see the old Adam McKay in there, like where she randomly bumps into like Timothy Chalamet's fantastic in that,
Yeah.
because he just plays like the dumb stoner kid,
Yeah.
which funny enough, like she like has a bond with, and he's like, I guess like we're together now, I guess, like, and then she makes this, and I'm like, it all coalesces, it's all
great.
coming together.
It's like the other side of the coin of who was your boy that was in Twilight?
Oh, Robert Pattinson.
Robert Pattinson, that like once he got out of that, he started doing really experimental filmmaking, or like he was doing the stuff.
Oh yeah,
that
like
seemed crazy.
as soon as Twilight ended, he did David Cronenberg movie.
Yeah.
And then another one, and then he's just kept.
Well, what was the one that was like the taxi or like the driving one?
Cosmopolis.
No, it was like Good Time.
Good Time. Oh, Good Time's great. Yeah.
It was like doing stuff like that. That's like a lot different. You see Daniel Radcliffe doing like Guns Akimbo,
Swiss
Army Man. You can see so many.
These big franchises have broken these men, and they just want to be.
Yep.
Elijah Wood's the same.
Wood,
he's
yeah.
not on the same big level as these guys, but he is doing like weirder, more independent stuff, and I love that because again, these big movies can often, and the big movies have kind of tarnished as well, where they felt a bit more paint by numbers. But it's so funny to watch them go from these big movies that are a bit more paint by numbers to stuff that is just a lot more interesting. But I love that, as you said, Jennifer Lawrence could have went down that path of just doing really experimental stuff.
Yeah.
But she seems happy to
It was like
do stuff.
she
like,
knows what she enjoys in
Yeah.
films, and now once she's made absolute bank, she's like, no, I'm gonna go do the stuff that interests me.
and it's 100% a crowd pleaser. It's the kind of movie that
People
you
are
can
loving
stick on, and like I could imagine No Hard Feelings being somebody's favorite movie.
Oh yeah,
Like-
I would, at least at this point, because I'm not the biggest fan of like any of the Hunger Games, the X-Men stuff's okay. Off rip, I'd probably say No Hard Feelings is my best film with Jennifer Lawrence in it, or my favorite with Jennifer Lawrence is like
She
a lead or
to
main
be fair,
actor.
you could tell she had a lot more fun making this than any of those X-Men movies. I
Yeah.
mean, she always just looked constrained and miserable in those. Because I think First Class came out before the first Hunger Games, where she really blew up. And I think once she realized that she didn't
Didn't have to wear the suit.
she didn't really have to do this X-Men stuff anymore, where she's in the makeup chair for 17 hours. You could tell she's like, I just want to act. I just want to perform. Like, I just want to, like, I don't want to be in the makeup chair for 17 hours. What are you
That's the
doing?
thing as well. She also took that left field for a wee moment of like what would be the traditional. It was like, oh, I'm in a very successful, profitable franchise. Now it's time to go and try and get the Oscar. It's something like Silver Linings Playbook.
Yeah.
Yeah, trying to do that. I don't know. Was she nominated? Did she?
Didn't she do that?
That was Bradley Cooper and Jennifer Lawrence.
Hey Siri, has Jennifer Lawrence won an Oscar? Yeah, she did.
Oh, she won it.
Yeah,
So
for Silver Linings Playbook.
yeah. So even better is like not only did she be like, oh, time to do Oscar Beatty films or like do something that's going to win me an award. She got it relatively easily.
Yeah,
And now she's like,
10 years ago.
she's got money, she's got accolades. Now she's like, no, I want to do the stuff that I enjoyed watching,
I love that.
and it's great.
I find it's the same thing with Adrian Brody. Adrian Brody
Yes.
won. Like, I think Adrian Brody's like the youngest Oscar winner. Or
Please try again.
Siri, did I ask you a question? Well, I suppose I did.
Yeah.
But I didn't ask you there now. So shush your mouth. Adrian Brody's like one of the youngest Oscar winners ever. And after The Pianist, he just went and done some.
you call me?
The tiny pianist.
Whoa! Why are we adding tiny now? This isn't a Tiny Desk concert.
Tiny
Jack.
small chode pianist.
Oscar award-winning
Oscar award-winning chode.
Tiny Chode.
Tiny
Penis.
chode pianist. He went off and just done some absolute schlock. Like, have you ever seen Splice?
No.
That's just an absolute, like, it's like him as a scientist, and he creates like this weird alien looking woman. But I think he tries to fuck her. It's just weird. It's just weird.
What else would you do?
It's fucking weird, man. It's just Adrian Brody is like, every time we see him pop up on something, we're like, thank God you're still working, because
Yeah.
man, you made every wrong decision as an actor, but I respect you for it now.
Huh?
It takes about 10 years for you to respect an actor's decisions.
Yeah.
Like it's taken us about 10 years to go, you know what, Nicolas Cage, you've made a lot of direct-to-video shite, but we respect you for it now because you were just trying to pay.
You just got.
You were just trying to pay off all your IRS bills because you just couldn't stop spending money on dinosaur bones.
Whoa.
Whoa. I don't know. Did we even discuss these movies, or have we just been like
No, we've just been faffing, but like,
just
hey,
ranting and raving?
this is a fun bottle episode. We're not doing anything too crazy here.
We're not doing anything.
We're
too
just
crazy.
trying to enjoy classic cinema. So screw that, like Art Nouveau. Screw cinema verite. Give me like a 40-year-old virgin, a knocked up, and like a Euro trip. Maybe an American Pie in there, and then we would be happy.
God, modern movies are terrible.
Just so bad.
They're so boring.
Yeah. They got to bring this fun stuff back. Well, no Hard Feelings does a good job, but I'm trying to think like what would be like the Chat GPT top 5 results for like wacky Judd Apatow film.
I feel like they just exist on. I don't know. Judd Apatow, like even The Bubble. I was like, oh man, this is just not.
Actors get trapped during quarantine. Whoa.
There was a weird
Delivery Man. Vince Vaughn accidentally has 100 kids.
man.
Whoa.
I didn't see that, but that's the kind of like comedy
Yeah,
I need.
I'm
I
up
like
for
the
that.
what was that Vince Vaughn Owen Wilson, The Internship.
The Internship.
I quite like
Internship's
that.
great.
That's the kind of, but that was 10 years ago, man. Like
Yeah.
Vince Vaughn's moved on. He's in like
I know.
Brawl and Cell Block 99 and Dragged Across Concrete. He's out of the comedy game.
Yeah. I used to. love-
Where's Owen Wilson? He's in Loki.
Oh, he's in Haunted Mansion, the new Disney.
Oh, isn't Lakeith Stanfield in that?
Yeah, Keith Stanfield, Owen Wilson.
Lakeith Stanfield will now just forever be Darius, just making his way through different universes.
Yeah, it's
It's
like
Darius in the multiverse.
yeah, he jumps through multiverses like the Spot, but it's every time he hits a blunt.
Man, I think Darius may be the greatest character
He is.
created this millennium.
I-
I think I put him as number one. Like he is just wonderful. I love Darius so much. He's from Atlanta. Everyone go watch Atlanta.
Atlanta's good.
We've never talked about it. Tom, have you even finished it?
I haven't finished it.
I haven't. Have you seen like what season 1, season? Did you watch season 3?
No, I think I've seen season 1, season 2.
No, because you were going away.
Yeah.
I remember you were like traveling at a certain point, and you were like, "I can't watch season 3, Jack." And I'm like, "I'm fucking going to watch season 3,"
Yeah.
and I loved it.
It's good.
It was great shit. That's fucking great. Tom, I would say to you to go into the ending phase of this new episode. Yeah. What's your favorite? Role models? No hard feelings.
Oh, role models, without a doubt.
Without a doubt.
Role models has stood the test of time so well. I definitely take it over. No Hard Feelings is like a great addition.
No hard feelings to no hard feelings, but it's role models for me. Thank you very much.
But yeah, I say No Hard Feelings is like a great addition to like any of those collections. It'll be right.
Those fucking 4-movie DVD collections
Yeah.
in the bargain bin of Activision.
Oh, those are the ones you.
What would there you go, Tom? Because we know what your opinion is. I would probably say role models as well. I think I laughed a bit more because it's about men. It's about men. It's a story about
man.
It's a story.
Fucking.
It's about story about men trying to avoid prison by hanging out with young children. So
Being brought up in a Catholic household, I relate to the story.
I relate to the story because I've also not got a driver's license. It's great.
That also true.
Tom, what do you think would be the 4-movie DVD that No Hard Feelings is on?
Oh, the bubble is going to be on it. It'll be No Hard Feelings, The Bubble. Oh, You People.
Oh no, you can't choose. You can't choose those.
Oh, what?
It's got to be movies that would genuinely come out on DVD.
Oh, okay.
Those had never got.
Oh, god damn! Because I was the one I was going to do was those 3, and then the new Strays coming out.
Strays would be on there. Did you remember? Because it's from the same people. That movie where like the kids just swore a lot. It has like Jacob Tremblay in it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I feel like that would be there.
That would be there. What was that one that people really liked? I'm not even sure if it was
Booksmart?
Yeah, that was the one.
Yeah.
The Booksmart.
was thinking that.
Booksmart.
Because you need something. It's like okay, you got Jennifer Lawrence. You need something also that's a bit of a raunchy comedy with There's a movie coming out. I think we saw the trailer for it. It's got the Rachel. How do you pronounce her name? Rachel Sennott? Rachel Sonoy? She was in Bodies, Bodies, Bodies.
Okay.
And she's in Shiva Baby, which I still need to watch.
Bobby's probably in one of those four
Bottoms? Is that what it's called? Bottom or Bottoms?
Oh, Bottoms, yes.
Yeah.
That'll be there.
Isn't it the lesbian wrestling?
Oh, yeah, no, it's like a female fight club.
Oh, yeah, female fight club because they want to...
They want to learn how to like protect themselves from sexual assault, and then it just turns into them fighting, I believe.
No, isn't it? They want to. They start a female fight club so they can have sex.
Oh, is it? I don't know.
I don't remember the trailer, man. But
Oh, well, no, I think that's the way they convince it to the gym teacher. It's like, oh, you got to teach us how to protect ourselves because we might be sexually assaulted. And he's like, yeah, okay, that's actually a good reason to start a self-defense class. And then they all just start fighting and fucking.
I think that's along the same lines of the movies I'm kind of talking about, where that's the kind of weird. Like, wait, what, really? Because I think we're out of movie ideas now where it's super duper ultra relatable. So you kind of have to put the relatable factor. Like, is anybody out here going to be relating to Jennifer Lawrence as a 32-year-old wanting to buck a 19-year-old for a Buick?
American made, man. American made. It's a great car.
I really wish the kid had never got inside the Buick, just so I could keep it in my mind that the only reason the Buick is there is because that's the car from Northern Ireland where Matthew Broderick ran over somebody.
We did make that joke several times.
The famous Enniskillen slasher Matthew Broderick.
You need to get rid of the car, so you give it to Jennifer
Matthew
Lawrence.
Broderick isn't even alive anymore. He's just hidden as a ghost in movies. He just makes his way from movie to movie.
I did say that it was while watching the film, I found it really strange every time Matthew Broderick talked because it looked like he was dubbing over himself because his lips just never seemed to like sync up with everything.
Oh, because every time he wants to speak, he incriminates himself.
Yeah.
So they went like, no, Matthew doesn't speak. You get a Matthew Broderick sound, like you make AI Matthew Broderick.
Yeah.
Imagine Matthew Broderick was the first person to be completely digitized. You can't prosecute an AI.
There you go.
We've got 10 minutes left. Let's more Matthew Broderick murderer jokes.
Right, let's get to town, Louise. That's what Matthew Broderick was saying.
Matthew, if you're listening, come back. We promise. We
back.
won't prosecute you.
You can get an Uber now. You don't have to be the one behind the wheel anymore.
Matthew Broderick would still find a way.
Yeah, to be fair, if
Matthew Broderick would become an Uber driver.
If I hopped on like the Ulster bus and I saw Matthew Broderick sitting on there, it'd be like Final Destination. I'd be like, I'm getting off this bus.
Is Matthew Broderick the last thing you see before you die?
No, it was for someone, Jack.
Is Matthew Broderick the last thing every Irish person who's ever been in any sort of car accident sees right before they die? Remember the story I was telling you where my mate gave me a lift up the road? It was about a 10-minute drive, but he was a wee bit tipsy during it. I'm pretty sure I saw Matthew Broderick on the road.
Oh,
I'm pretty sure I did. I was like, oh shit.
I was like, it's not Ferris Bueller. Next thing I know, I was in a ditch.
Oh man, you've really left your mark on this country.
Yeah.
in every way, shape, and form.
Oh man.
Oh, great stuff. Great stuff. I miss the R-rated comedies. There should be more of them.
I like them.
Oh, they're just so fun. And I think to finish up, the thing that I really appreciate, and I mentioned it to you as well, the scale of role models was so small.
Yeah.
To the point where they even had a scene in the forest. The classic, we don't really have much of our budget left. Let's write a scene in here so we can just go and you don't have to worry about, courting things off. It's just nice, simple. There's one where they just do it in like a public park for the Ren Fair. Like that's all great, man. It's super simple. You don't need sets or anything like that. It's wonderful. It's wonderfully simple. No Hard Feelings is a bit more because it costs a bit more. It costs like 45 mil. They have she like speeds past a moving train and she gets set on fire on top of a car. But then again, it's not like the older comedies didn't have stuff like that as well. I mean, Todd Phillips with The Hangover.
Oh yeah,
that got pretty crazy. I remember Due Date having some of that stuff in there as well. So it's not like those comedies didn't go out there a good bit. But I do love the return to this form of silliness.
Yeah.
Bodies was pretty silly. Bottoms Bottoms, I think it's called. I think it's called Bottoms. That looks pretty silly. There's just like this air of silliness combined with, oh no, but these are actual scripts that were written and they actually have talented
They
people.
have legs.
Yeah, I think we're just missing actual real comedic talent. I mean, you think about Paul Rudd, Sean William Scott, these are people who had a powerful comedic persona. Even Jason Bateman, you think of him as like the perfect everyman. They had these strong personas that really came out. So whenever you watch, I don't know, man, like Jonah Hill had a good script behind him, but I don't feel like Jonah Hill carries a movie like You People. He just doesn't have that. And even something like Eddie Murphy, I feel like, oh no, you're like, Eddie Murphy is so funny.
Yeah.
Eddie Murphy can be hilarious. I mean, Dolomite Is My Name. Like he's
That
clearly
was
like
great.
fantastic. I feel like it's so much constraining of like, no, you're playing this role and you're saying this dialogue, and oh man, just let them be characters and let them give them something to chew on, because if they've not got anything to chew on, they're not gonna be able to show you what they can really do. So I think the issue is really just there's not enough talent these days because they're not willing to pay them, and that's what it all comes back to, ladies and gentlemen. What it all comes back to: pay your talent. Pay Paul Rudd. Pay Sean William Scott. Get Sean William Scott back in the movies.
Yeah.
We need Stifler back in action. That's what we need. Absolutely. No Hard Feelings, fantastic. Role Models, fantastic.
Yep. Recommend both.
Rent, No Hard Feelings. Let the studios know that not only should they pay people, but they should also make more R-rated comedies that aren't full of themselves. Okay,
The next time you're sitting down and thinking, I might watch another Marvel film, catch yourself on, watch No Hard Feelings, and then if you're like, I still want to see Paul Rudd and spandex, there's like, then go watch it. But like,
man, the end of Role Models. And I'm going to spoil it now. So if you really want to watch Role Models, we've
15-year-old film.
It's 15-year-old movie. So if you haven't seen it, the fuck. But if you still want to watch it, go watch it now. Switch off the podcast. We've already got enough of your attention time. So suckers. The end of this movie has Sean William Scott, little kid, Christopher Mintz-Plaza, Paul Rudd, all come out to the Ren Fair, dressed as fucking Kiss. And I swear to God, I had a bigger reaction to that scene than I did when all the Avengers assembled in the first one.
Oh, aye.
That was fucking great.
That was good.
That was amazing. That was because Kiss had been mentioned throughout. And then when they come in, they all dress as Kiss because they're making the new, was it Brigade or whatever?
Yeah.
I was like, genius. Stroke of genius. That is the sort of thing where you write the script and you get down to the bottom and you're like, I wonder what they should wear. Hold on a minute. We mentioned Kiss here. They're dressed as Kiss. And it all brings it instantly. It makes your film feel 10-15% better because it feels so good. And that's the kind of thing that you can only do by actually writing a script and not just making it up on the day.
Yeah. Not using PowerPoints.
Not using. It's the sort of thing. It's the Back to the Future thing. You could literally do this on cue cards.
Yeah.
But people don't do that. Here, let's film 3 hours a day and then just have an editor shift through this while working for $2 an hour.
Yeah.
It's just the worst way of making films. Role Models, fantastic. No Hard Feelings, fantastic. This has been another edition of Hecklin Hollywood, Tom. I've very much enjoyed going back into the old catalogs. We should really look into some more older movies, maybe some older comedies, perhaps a trilogy of films that is near and dear to your heart. Because don't worry, Tom, I haven't forgotten. You did watch The Meg 2 with me, so we will be doing the Austin Powers trilogy.
Ladies and gentlemen, Bert Burgerhead.
He's Dutch, isn't that weird? So we will do those. Very excited for that. That'll be a fun time because I think it's clear, Tom. Movies are dead. Let's just go backwards now.
Yes,
we've had how long has cinema been a thing? 120 years. We have 120 years of movies, Tom. I'm sure we will never run out, and that's only the movies in English. So eventually we can start.
We're going to start at the top of the list with Adam Sandler films,
Oh, absolutely.
and we'll be done by B. And then we're
The B movie.
The B movie.
Jerry Seinfeld just killed cinema.
Yeah, Ray Liotta
By being
rest in
so
peace,
good.
was in it.
He was in B movie?
Yeah,
Oh, shit, really?
yeah, he plays Ray Liotta.
Was that not Patrick Warburton?
No,
No?
Ray Liotta has a brand of honey, so he gets brought up to the court case.
Oh my god, that's Ray Liotta, honey?
Yeah,
Oh my goodness. Tom, wait, I think it's official. We need to watch the B movie at some point.
oh no.
I know. What's the deal with all this honey? Whoa! Tom, I do want to, in our remaining minute, I do want to tease the very next episode of this podcast, because we're always talking about, we might do this in the future, might do this in the future, maybe a few episodes down the line. We've got a special guest coming on the very next episode, and we will be doing something very special. It'll be another double bill that we like to do on here. We like to talk about a couple of things.
Yes.
But we will be discussing something from our homeland and something from their homeland. And we will be maybe doing a battle of the countries, despite the fact that 17 billion of our countries could fit in their country. So that's something to think about. But it'll be very exciting. We don't know the movies that will be going yet. We will be finding out very soon. But tune in for that, because it'll be very, very interesting. And that'll be all on the next edition of Hecklin Hollywood. Tom, closing thoughts?
Yep. Make sure to like and subscribe. Let me do all the things. Let me do like and subscribe, so you can be notified whenever the next episode comes out. If you enjoyed this video, give a comment below. What's your favorite Paul Rudd film? Better yet, what's your favorite Paul Rudd quote? Better yet, what's your least favorite Ray Liotta quote? Okay, thank you everybody. This has been a brilliant show. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope everybody has a beautiful day, night, morning, whatever it is you are.
Guys, I just really want to thank you just for an old lump of coal like us. I just really want to thank you, because it's just made us so happy.
Just an old jungle, but I'm gonna be a diamond someday.
Okay, thank you.